Alright, welcome back to the Olimoleague, guys. I want to give a big shout out to start off this game to Terrible Terran, just resubbed for 9 months running. That's fantastic. Thank you for your long-time support, friend. But guys, welcome. It's game number 2. If you missed game number 1, it was pretty good, I gotta tell you. It was going back and forth for a little bit, but spawning here in the top left of Infernal Pools. We'll see if you can repeat the victory and take a 2-0. It's gonna be Invasion Esports, Red Terran Gumiho. But his opponent in the bottom left, he's definitely good enough to turn this around to a possible ace match. It's going to be Dead Pixels Purple, Zerg True. Now, a little bit of, I don't know, we'll call it intensity between these two. It was pretty back and forth. Usually when it gets to low economy, we see the game get really scrappy, but even then, both players kept a pretty calm head. I do think it started to fall apart for True when he started getting a little too, what's the phrase here? Like, a little too antsy to take fights. Like, he felt really pressured to attack Gumiho's 4th, and that's understandable, but he took a bad engagement in a choke. You know, the Vipers never really got a lot of blinding clouds that game, and truth be told, I kind of feel with how late it took Gumiho to secure a 4th base, I think Abduct's picking off the army one at a time, grab that Thor, grab that tank, may have played out better. But again, True is a world-class Zerg player, and I'm hardly trying to criticize him. Just alternative thoughts on what could have gone differently, because, again, a mech player is a hard player to break, no matter how you look at it. Now, these spawn locations will definitely work out well for both players. On one hand, yes, there's going to be a little bit of a Reaper cliff, and maybe Gumiho goes a little bit Reaper heavy like he did in that last map. I kind of don't see him going 3 Reapers again. That's a little too much of an investment for me to get on board with, at least. But there's a lot of good things about this map and a lot of bad things about this map. Number 1, you've got the gold base on both sides of the map, and because it's not horizontal spawns, they won't be contesting the same gold bases. So True could leapfrog to a 3rd, so could Gumiho. There's kind of the cool aspect of island bases. We haven't really seen these used a lot, but between the way Gumiho has been playing with his Thors and his quick mobile defenses, I really think this would be a fun map to try and make this your 4th base you secure, to make this your base that you go for battlecruiser tech on should you get that far into the game. But at the same time, you can play the slow push. It's, again, a very nice map that could be split horizontally and could go a couple of different directions. And I think that this could be very wonderful to watch. But at the same time, a lot of Zerg players kind of have this mentality that I don't want to play the late game versus mech. I don't want to have to deal with these tanks. So please note how unkillable those tanks were last game, guys, even for the Ultralists to deal with. So for True's sake, he may try and hit with a bit of an earlier attack, whether it's pressure with Roaches or an all-in with Roaches and Banelings. It's something we do see commonly shutting Terran players down. In fact, Banelings, period, I just reference anything with life, am I right? But I'm going to give a big thank you to Narcotic_. Just subscribed to the channel for the first time. Welcome, sir. I want to remind you guys about the Olimoleague too, just while we got this kind of standard opening. The Olimoleague runs off of its own Patreon system. The prize pool for this tournament, the funding for staff, Olivia's coverage, Base Trade TV getting a small piece of that pie. This is all done through the Patreon program. You guys fund this tournament. There's no CM Storm or big sponsor attached to this. This is done by the community, for the community. And I couldn't be happier for that. So a lot of you guys might be hoping to get a couple of replay packs. Like, we've sent out, I think, about 7 replay packs this month. It's been fantastic so far, and I got a couple more still to bundle up. But sadly, we cannot and do not share the Olimoleague replays. If you want the replays from the Olimoleague, you have to contact Olimoleague and get set up with a Patreon, as it is a perk for the patrons to actually get the replays from this tournament. Highly coveted, very high quality Korean replays. Actually, if you guys watched my stream just the other day, you'll learn just how good replays can be. I wrote down Taiga's build to use versus Cats in the safety net, the scumbag Hellbat all in, and it was delicious. It was fun. I think I took it to ladder, and I think we won 3 out of 4 games with it. It was pretty good times. But getting back on pace for this match, we do have a gold base being taken from True. I really like this if he can get away with it. A Zerg player left untouched is a scary thing. A Zerg player with a gold base left untouched is a really scary thing. but there are some big drawbacks to this, and one of them is Hellions can just camp on top of the cliff. You could put a siege tank up here, and yes, there's ramps, so you can run lings around and roaches around to get on top of the army units, but this is a really nice way to deny mining without having to dedicate to the low ground possibility of spine crawlers or roaches or what have you. On the flip side of the coin, though, Gumiho might not be looking to go aggressive at all. He might have to just play super defensive. There is that roach pressure I kind of hinted at earlier coming across the map. Oh, it might be a little bit more than pressure, guys. The Baneling Nest is thrown down. Now, the Viking picks off the Overlord, but the drones are transferring over to the gold, and normally in this situation, your economy kind of sucks behind this as a Zerg player, because you cut workers, you invest fully into Banelings and Roaches, and you go for what is aptly called an all-in. However, with a gold-based economy, this might be a little bit better than your average all-in, and he might be able to sustain himself better through this. So this becomes less of an all-in and more of a pressure through that logic, but the wall-off's not done. There's not a Banshee coming out of Gumiho, and he's trying to play bio. Without a bunker down, I think this is going to be pretty much impossible to hold. The wall-off it's huge in the first place. This ramp is fairly large. He has no idea this is coming. And truth be told, dealing with the Banelings might not actually be an option here. Normally the bunker will soak up a certain amount. The supply depots will probably eat about 6 or so. Maybe 1 or 2 will die on the way in. But for the most part, Gumiho's going to leave the base with the Hellions right now and have a big oh shit moment. The depot is re-raised and looks like he is going to possibly lose these. Yeah, there we go. A couple of depots going down. Very, very scary because you get supply block through this too, no less. So it's already hard enough to deal with. Perhaps cancel that last supply depot and do it again. Gonna hold up here towards the main. If he can hold up in the main, that is. He's gonna focus fire a lot of these Banelings. Great focus fire out of Gumiho. Without this focus fire, these supply depots go down, and if these supply depots go down, Gumiho dies. But Gumiho's got a little bit more to worry with, and there's the supply depot finally going down, but he soaks up so many Banelings with it, with the Hellion fire. SCV's now being pulled into the fray, but there's 2 more Banelings. He's got to snipe off at least 1. Focus fire is great. Second one can go off on the SCVs. It's not such a big deal. They can take that hits. Actually, they start repairing each other immediately. Big SCV circle jerk, but Gumiho is on 3 Cs. Recovering off of this is not out of the question, but his tech lab is gone. Stim was denied. He's got no more Marauders to work with, and he's got to just somehow sit through the Banelings, but I think this first wave has been held. However, there's more on the way, and this isn't it. He doesn't have a wall down. He's got to reestablish this. He thinks he's in the clear, but there's that gold-based economy to look out for. Command Center is wishful thinking as it tries to land. There's no bunker on the high ground. There's no stim pack to fall back to. The Vikings are actually kind of nice because they can soak those hits from the Banelings fairly well. They are armored units after all. It's kind of like having 2 big fat Marauders, but just generally speaking, this gets a lot worse before it gets any better. He does pick up and wants to go for a counterattack. Maybe? No, okay. I was going to say that'd be pretty much suicidal to pull it off, but the Banelings get wasted on the Hellions. Can he hold against the Lings? This is going to be the big question. A lot of these are going to be chased off, and again, there's still no stim pack. Round 2 of the Banelings come in, and I think True just has too much money, too much economy. That gold base is just too good for him. And Gumiho does not save any Marines through this. 3 of them barely get out alive. SCVs are pulled into the defense. Maybe he holds up here between this ghetto SCV wall, but this is still not it. There's more outside the base. There's more soon to come. Gumiho, there's 34 more Lings on the way. Somehow True finds money to get upgrades behind this as if it wasn't as bad as already. He finally reestablishes the wall, and the stim pack is in a very vulnerable position. I don't know that Gumiho actually gets stim pack done this game. A bunker would be absolutely fantastic to have, but his hopes and dreams are dying as each second goes by because True pulls more and more ahead. The counter drop is kind of neat to see, but it's 4 Marines and a Hellion. It's really not that much. A couple of Ling reinforcements and the Queen might be able to hold this, but none of that's going to matter if he loses everything on the other side of the map. These Lings are just kind of getting fried alive by those Hellions. Stimpack denied once again. No Hellbats, only Hellions kiting around for their lives. They should maybe be able to do with the Lings. The SimCity for Gumiho back here is playing off really nicely, but the barracks are starting to burn. He's got to get that wall back up. He's got to find a way to somehow get Stim out this game. And this drop is getting cleaned up by, again, a couple of Queen shots and the reinforcing Lings. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have to go to game number 3, and we are going to have to see that ace match. It's a little early to call, but the damage has been so severe, and normally you've got 3 CCs helping you recover from this, but Gumiho's had one of his CCs floating above the natural for so long, it's almost full on energy. He's not been dropping mules. He's not been producing SCVs. He's not been getting that wall off. But looks like this threat of a counterattack did draw the Lings back. So in that regard, maybe starts buying himself some time. But Depot's at the wall. Oh, that's not going to cut it. He really needs bunkers. It's double the supply. Yikes. Meanwhile, the transition to Mutalisks is slowly coming up behind this, and Gumiho has put so much tunnel vision on what he's been having to deal with. He's probably not thinking too much about what's coming up ahead, and you know what kind of stresses me out behind all of this? I would have loved to have seen Gumiho take this command center and float it to the island base while this was going on. Can you imagine mining off of a base where no lings and no banelings can reach you? Oh, it would have been so sweet. I think True's starting to suspect that that may be an option. Sends his Overlord over here to start dropping some creep. Because, I mean, again, Gumiho could have been mining pretty nicely off of that this entire time. Not with SCVs, maybe, but at least the mules. But now going to mule out his natural base. He's trying to get this wall back up. He's not worried about playing defensive anymore, but this has got to be scary. Oh my god, that's a lot of Hellbats in these medevacs, though. He might just be able to take out the Baneling Force of the Zerglings, but again, the problem persists. He's got no upgrades behind this. True is on his way to 2-2. He's got Mutalisks soon to be coming out. I just don't know that Gumiho... It's kind of like the terror in the night. Like, do you live through the night to make it to the morning? To make it to the dawn where you can get saved by the army, the police, whatever? I mean, I just feel like there's no hope to deal with the Mutas. And True, once again, he does what he did last game. Just starts taking all of the bases once he gets ahead in the game. Once he gets that map control. The gold base is going to go down, but as we can see, most of the mineral patches are pretty much mined out. They've done their job so far. These Hellbats outside doing what they can to hold. Some great shots going off. But looks like ultimately the wall will go down once again. The engineering bay is wanting to research, but there's just no money for it. Supply block like crazy. The Hellions unloaded. Hellbats unloaded into the Banelings. And Gumiho, while he's still going for a big attack on his own, he can't defend his own base. And if this is a base race, if this is, dare I say, a base trade, I think the Mutalisks win this game 9 times out of 9, 10 times out of 10. True showing us the ferocity, the fear, the terror that can be an all-in. And a good game finally called. True will take game number 2, tying up the match 1-1.